Yo, 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 what is up, guys? Fix myself here. What is up? What is up? How we doing? I hope you guys can hear me okay. I think it's coming through all right. What the hell is up, guys? We have not a lot to talk about tonight, but some surprising shit, not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. So, figured it'd be best to jump on here now, talk about it before the weekend gets ahead of us, and God knows what else will happen between now and Monday going into Raw. So, figured it'd be now, or the time would be best now to sit down and chat for a little bit. What up, Maddie? Pull up the comments here. Excuse me. What up, Mohammed? What up, E? What up, guys? I'll go through y'all's messages here in a second. But, of course, the elephant in the room, it's pretty obvious what we are here to talk about. The recent departures from WWE today. Of course, the New Day, which consists of Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston. There were 2 other releases as well that we will talk about here. Just give it a couple minutes to get going here, but excuse me. And my dog has her bone in the background for her toy. She's chewing on it pretty loud. So let me know if you guys can hear it, if it's coming through on the mic, and if it's annoying or anything like that. What up? Is that you, CJ? I think that's you, CJ. What up, man? Yeah, where have you been, CJ? I haven't seen you around lately. Have you been in any other chats, PW Torch chat or anything like that? Thanks for popping in, though. I know you said you probably won't be around for a while, but appreciate you popping in, dude. Hope you're doing okay. Hey, okay. I thought you had CJ LaChapelle in your name, but maybe I made that up. But I just wanted to make sure that was you, dude. What's up? What's up? I'm happy to see you pop in. But yeah, guys, so won't waste too much time. It's probably not gonna be too long of a stream. Excuse me, gosh. But I wanted to get on here, like I said, and chat about it before anything else crazy happens, because things just seem to happen, and then 5 other things happen within 24, 48 hours, and it's like, fuck. Like, even with this, like the releases that we just had, last week? It's not old news, but it's like, fuck, like there's just so much shit that happens. It's like, damn, man. You lose track of everyone who's released, which is sad to say. And again, I guess, I don't know if you want to call it a disclaimer or whatever, but I understand, right? Business is business. Excuse me. We are all not guaranteed a job, whether we sign a contract or not, which is pretty crazy when you think about it. But it is, it is what it is. Sadly, like, it's pretty one-sided. Of course, I've never ever read one of the contracts, and most likely never will, unless one gets leaked onto the internet, right? But I understand jobs have to do what they have to do, right? But it just kind of hits you a little bit different when the company that you work for that releases you or wants to either reschedule your contract, releases you just outright, or whatever the case may be. It's just kind of almost like a slap in the face, you know what I mean? And especially depending on your stature there in the company, how long you've been there, and things like that. But again, at the same token too, like, if I'm the business, you have to do what you have to do. Budget cuts happen, period. We don't know. And that's the other thing too. We don't know when they make these roster cuts. And again, TKO, I'm sure we'll get into it, right? They have a lot of faults that we are starting to see more and more now. But excuse me, Vince did this for years, right? So it's just kind of weird to me seeing people say things like, oh, this would have never happened if Vince was in charge. Vince would never release people when they're injured. And I'm just like, okay. Like, are you a new fan or something? Like, if you are, that's fine and well, but it's not quite accurate. And it's just like, when you look in the grand scheme of things, then they're making billions of dollars, and they're going to make $250 million next year alone just for WrestleMania. And obviously that's a different year, different budget, obviously, you know, things like that. But it's like, I don't know, man. And you know, I haven't seen it, but you know that they are going to tout whatever records they broke at WrestleMania, revenue wise, and things like that. So it's just really kind of salty, man. It just doesn't sit well with you that certain talent they don't. I guess I don't want to say go above and beyond for, because again, we weren't in the room, right? We don't know how much WWE. I'm just gonna say WWE, right? How much WWE did try to throw at Xavier Woods and Kofi Kingston to get them to stay. And to be fair, because you guys and me have to devil's advocate, right? To be fair, it was, which we'll get into it. We'll read the article, right, and then kind of dive into more thoughts on it. All right, so, and this is from Brian Alvarez over at Figure 4 Online. So shout out to him, and everyone at this point has reported it. But he wrote, we can also confirm that in the case of New Day, it was their decision to leave based on what TKO was offering for a new deal. To be specific, New Day's deals were not up. They were asked to restructure the TKO deals. They didn't like the deals, so they were then granted their release. Alvarez also confirmed that both Kingston and Woods are under 90-day non-compete deals. No surprise there. Kingston Wood, just a little bit of history. Kingston Woods and Big E first appeared together as New Day on the July 1st, 2014 episode of Raw. The team went on to become 13-time WWE Tag Team Champions, while Kingston and Big E both won the WWE Championship during their run together. Kingston had been with the WWE for nearly 20 years after signing a developmental deal in 2006. Woods had been with the company since 2010, so about 4 years less than Kofi. Kind of go through a few more articles here. I think this is just in regards, the 90-day departure again. And close that out. And I say this all the time, and I get it, man. You gotta make your mind, but these fucking ads, bro, just ridiculous. All right, and those are the two new ones. Yeah. So, and going through, where'd it go? Because I had to put up here. Kofi won so many fucking titles, dude. He was, of course, a former WWE champion, Intercontinental champion 4 times. Excuse me, gosh. Won the United States Championship 3 times. He himself, what was that, 7? Was that 14 times that he won the tag team titles? They have it broken down here, Wikipedia, of course. That he was the WWE slash Raw slash WWE. I don't know why they slash WWE. Raw and slash World Tag Team Championships after, of course, they severed the titles, split them up and all that shit. With Evan Bourne once, R-Truth once, Big E and Xavier Woods twice, and Xavier Woods 3 times. I don't know. That's so confusing to me. Fucking Xavier Woods. Jesus Christ. Wikipedia. Regardless, he won a fucking lot of tag team titles. He won the NXT Tag Team Championships. He was a 13-time Grand Slam champion. Under the current format, 20th overall. A 30th Triple Crown champion. The 3rd Tag Team Triple Crown champion. He won the bragging rights trophy back in 2010. Y'all, I mean, wrestling isn't hot right now, but Jesus, it's still not 2010, 2009, like 2008, those years. He won 2 Slammy Awards and then 2 year-end awards, which I don't even remember the year-end awards, but whatever. But obviously, needless to say, dude was accomplished, right? Probably the biggest moment, if, I had to say my bias, right? Winning the championship, winning the WWE championship, Kofi Mania. I was lucky enough to be there for Kofi Mania and the culmination of Kofi Mania rather at WrestleMania 35, which is crazy to think of how many years ago that was now. I went back in, I was briefly scrolling in my photos earlier once I realized that this shit was actually true. And I could have sworn I had taken a video of the actual like 3 count of the match, but just the sequence right before. And I was like, damn, dude. But I have some pictures, so I might post those. Maybe use one for the thumbnail. But we all know the story, right? Shout out to Frida in the background. Her surgery is Thursday. Dropping her off Thursday morning at 7:45 for her surgery. So it's gonna be an interesting weekend. But yeah, the atmosphere for that match at Mania 35 and just the will, like the unified will. I can't really explain it, but that's just like, I don't know if it makes sense, but just like like I said, the unified will of the people, just like that feeling that you felt like we were all there. I mean, I'm not going to say 100%, but probably like 97%, 98% there for Kofi to win, right? And it was just one of those feelings that, yeah, of course, like you have your favorites, right? But you were really on this journey. And of course, it came like, excuse me, I don't want to say it came out of nowhere, but who got injured? Remember Mustafa Ali, when he just got clocked, and I think it was his eye just like got just got like a brutal black eye, I think, or maybe it was a concussion, some type of head injury. I believe it was back at the Chamber, and then that's around that time. That's when Kofi Mania started. So fast forward to Mania itself, WrestleMania, and the match, dude, it was just like everyone was just glued to what was happening in the ring. Like no one was really on their phones besides just to like take pictures and record the moment, right? And I wish God, and I'm just so pissed at myself that I didn't get the 3 count because it was just the kick out from like it was probably like a minute or two before the end of the match. Brian, I was calling Brian Danielson, that's his name, but Dane O'Brien had what movie? I forget which movie hit. But he almost got the 3 count. And when Kofi kicked out, you would have thought the place, like, I don't know, like he was like the hometown hero, game 7 type shit. Like it was just a different vibe, dude. And then when the 3 count came in, it was just like your boy won, man. Like you're almost like your all-time favorite one. It was like just like a weird feeling, man. It was just like really emotional. So I do have pictures from the SmackDown after Mania, so I am definitely going to post those because those are pretty cool. I had really great seats for that SmackDown show with the celebration and everything. So again, before I get there, all good things come to an end, right? And we knew Kofi wasn't probably going to have that long of a run. I expected at least 6-8 months, right? And then it was when they debuted on Fox, I believe. SmackDown, I just did a big move, and Brock came back and just fucking demolished. I almost said Kofi, and it was just like, the fuck are we doing? Like, really? All to set up Cain Velasquez, I think. That was shortly, yeah, because Cain came out right afterwards. And it's just like, in hindsight, it's even worse than how it felt in the moment. It's, yeah, like you have shocking moments, and I understand anything can happen, right? And maybe realistically, like Brock probably would beat Kofi, but Kofi ain't no slouch, man. Like Kofi, especially if it was like a real fight, like I'm not gonna say he would just get like fucking creamed by Lesnar, but obviously there's a size difference and things like that. But man, it was just shitty how they had him go out as champion, and especially now he never was able to get back to that point. again, maybe not even saying he should have been a two-time champion, but I expected a better run. Again, didn't expect a legendary title reign, mania to mania, anything like absurd like that. But dude, like you built, you finally one of those rare occasions, right? Struck when the iron was hot, and you just let it go to waste. And not only did you let it go to waste, but you didn't follow up on it either. And that's criminal, in my opinion. Like we give AEW a lot of shit for the build up and the follow up, right? And we gotta call it where we see it. You know what I mean? And just thinking that they never circled back to that, it's just kind of wild to me. And again, not acting like Kofi was this main event star there, you know, like, and he was a made man thereafter, but he definitely, there is something in a different vibe, in a different aura on you once you have become champion. People look at you differently, right? And you always have that stat and that to fall back on. So I don't know. But fast forwarding quite a bit to, because to think about it, man, I mean, they obviously did some tag team stuff after that, but nothing really too much of substance after that. Xavier became king of the ring, I was said champion, but king of the ring, which is something that he always wanted, so dope for him. But I feel like he could have been a bigger mid card wrestler than what they allowed him to be. Man, if you guys have never seen his TNA run way back in the day as Consequences Creed, that dude he was, I remember back then just being like, man, like I don't know why I like this guy, but I like this guy. Like there's just something about him. So to think that they didn't exploit that as much as they could have is rather disappointing as well. Again, not sitting here saying like, oh, I expected him to be heavyweight champion, do this, that, and the third, main event, WrestleMania. And no, like I'm not being unrealistic, right? But they definitely, while this is gonna sound crazy to say, but they definitely left money on the table, which we'll get to later on, which in regards to the absurd amount of money New Day did make, but that's, we'll get to that later. But in regard to the individual runs, props to them for culminating on Kofi, right? Fail to them for dropping the ball on the run, the reign, and the follow up for that. And again, fast forwarding quite a bit, fail to the heel turn. The heel turn itself, which eerily enough is when I sit here and begin to say it out loud and think about it, quite similar to the John Cena of it all, we'll say. The heel turn itself was very well done, dude. Like, it was just one of those moments like, holy shit. Like, they actually, like, what is happening? This is really happening? Like, they pulled the trigger on this. Holy shit. And it was one of those things that got you excited because I was like, fuck yeah. Like, again, you guys know me. I'm a big story person. So it was one of those things where super excited for the follow up to see what's going to happen because surely they wouldn't make a big move like this. And of course, different levels, right? But they wouldn't make a big move like this in regards to turning Kofi, well, I'm not going to say the New Day, but Kofi and Xavier, especially on Big E, of all people, right? Without having a solid plan going forward. And the fact that they really did not is just, and no fault, again, am I sitting here saying that Kofi and Xavier Woods are lacking, right? Like, I'm sure shit that if they had the pen or the pencil, right, they would have come up with ample storylines. I'm not saying they would have like taken over the script, right, and the television, but they would have had decent segments and at least some type of story and direction and thoughts going forward. Right, these guys are professionals. They've been in the business for decades at this point, right? Like Kofi was in WWE for almost 20 years. I don't remember, and I don't well, not even remember, but I don't really know his indie run prior to that. So you guys, if you guys know, you could throw it in the chat. But 20 years, man, I mean, fuck, like almost doesn't even matter at that point because you build a wrestling mind, and while you may not have the indie mindset of like the scrapping mindset, you have the longevity mindset, and you have the keeping yourself going and just longevity period. And it's like, just imagine like all the people Kofi has seen obviously come back but leave the company, and to think that he, I don't want to say survived, but that he made it this long. And again, to be fair, they didn't get released, they didn't get fired. It was a mutual parting of ways because they did not agree to the restructuring of the deal to the TKO deal, which I fear is going to be, I don't want to say common, but this isn't going to be the last that we hear of so and so did not want to restructure to the TKO contract, which I find very interesting that it's like specifically labeled like a TKO contract. Of course, it's, TKO owns WWE, no shit. But I almost wonder how long, I don't know how long they have been in their current deal. Let me see if I can pull it up really quick. Actually, while I do this, I'm gonna see if I can. I'm gonna take a quick sip. But you have to imagine that if their previous deal was even anywhere from like a 3-year to a 5-year deal, they were on, I guess we'll call it like a WWE deal, right? So if this was the time when they were going through their renewal period, their restructuring period, and now the contracts are under like a TKO umbrella, that's pretty interesting. Because I mean, you guys would know too. Like, I don't know if I've heard of that being specifically a thing, right? Like, talent being, I don't know, like talent having a WWE contract or a TKO contract. Because if you think about it, like some of the newer talent, then I guess have, and people who just renewed, I get, and like we'll take Triple H for instance, right? Well, he's technically an employee, so he's not a good example, but he just renewed. So I'm assuming his contract would be under a TKO banner instead of a WWE banner. So you have to think like some employees and wrestlers are under a WWE contract, whereas some are under a TKO contract, which I just think is very interesting. And I wonder what the big differences are. If it's just as simple as like when WWE, like, or just a rebranding, right? When WWE or WWF had to go to WWE, I wonder if it's just a matter of, hey, just take out this logo, put this one down. Or if there are stricter policies. I don't know. Like, I don't know. I would love to be a fly on the wall, right? For all that shit. But it has to be something substantial and some type of substantial change, obviously, because they wanted to, it sounds like, reduce the salaries for what Kofi and Woods were making. So I'm gonna pull that article back up. So I mean, fuck, dude, I don't blame him. I'm gonna get to a little bit more of my thoughts here in a second, but the fact, and again, like I was saying earlier, the fact that you sit here in one hand tout how successful you have been and how much money WrestleMania makes, all this stuff. Let's see if I can pull it up here really quick. And then you just let two people, and sometimes it's a case of just doing what's, I don't want to say morally right, but just what's good for the locker room and good for the company, right? Like, I don't know, man. I'm not saying this is going to cause an uproar. There have been reports, right? Like a lot of talent are shocked. Well, their talent period are just shocked. But a lot of WWE talent are upset, right? And unsettled. Of course, AEW talent are super stoked, which we will obviously get to in a little bit. I was just trying to see if, really quick while I'm reading through here. Sorry for the for the dead air. If it had mentioned how long their previous deal was. Mm-mm. And I think it's interesting. So this article says Woods, who has been on the sidelines with an injury since January, was the King of the Ring winner in 2021. The 39-year-old has been with the company since 2010. The duo was in the midst of a failed heel turn that began in December of 2024. Kingston last appeared on WWE television on April 27th when he teamed with Grayson Waller, the third member of the latest version of the New Day. Yeah, which blah blah blah. AEW people are excited. No shit. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, I'm not sure how long their previous contract was, but I guess it doesn't really matter. But I really want to know, like, besides what the money aspect of it was, if it was like a length as well, because previously we had heard like WWE weren't doing contracts for less than 3 years, 3 to 5 years. So I wonder if it was a length, as sounds weird to say a lot, but wonder if it was like a length issue, like I don't know. Like I obviously like we'll not maybe not obviously, but hopefully we'll get more information here within the next couple days in regards to if it was just purely like a money factor. And if it is, just get to it now. Shout out to them. And fuck yeah, I don't blame them because know your worth, man. These fucking companies will bend over backwards to pat themselves on the back, to look at Callie, to hype their brand, to tout how successful they are, all this shit, be super flashy, do this, that, and the third, especially coming out of WrestleMania. And you then go into a talent or into a contract negotiation with a talent and we'll just, even if it's like a couple 100,000 or like, because the report said that they were making well into the six figures, as they should, especially Kofi, right? But not even like, we'll just take the Kofi main event, Kofi Mania aspect out of it. The New Day as of course, a trio, but Woods and Kingston, Woods and Kofi, they were special, dude. And yes, I definitely got to a point where I was getting tired of just seeing the same old shit. You know what I mean? They had run its course, and that's why a heel turn was needed, or at least just a different direction, right? But with New Day, it's one of those. It was almost like a Bailey character, right? When Bailey was in NXT and the Hugger Bailey, for instance, it's almost it was almost one of those characters where it's like, damn, like they are so like, excuse me, positive, right? Like power positivity and shit like that, and throwing the pancakes and all that bullshit. Like, how do you make them an edgier or just change their persona period with still keeping them as a good guy? So that was definitely a challenge, right? But my opinion, they did definitely get to a point where it was like, I'm just like tired of seeing them on TV. Like, obviously, like they're great talent, the matches are fantastic. They were one of the staples and one of the like backbones keeping WWE's tag team division even a thing, which right now is just fucking abysmal. It's almost non-existent. So it's about like like just bonkers that they have two different tag team titles and two different sets of tag team titles now, which maybe we'll get into later, but just wild to me. um with all the talent that you're cutting, that you still are able to have, and maybe who knows, maybe going into Money in the Bank we'll have like a unification of the tag team titles, like the team has to climb and grab both sets of the titles, they'll unify them later, whatever. Most likely not, but brother, you are just making life harder and harder for yourself. I don't understand it. Like, I don't understand it. Yes, like, I'm sure it wasn't Triple H's idea. Like, I'm sure he didn't wake up whatever day it was and be like, hey, Ari, like, I just kind of tired of the New Day. Just really kind of tired of Kofi and Xavier. Not really doing anything with them. Let's like just kind of force them out, right? And let's just kind of get rid of them, and let's just kind of like restructure the deal to the point where they just like, fuck you guys, I'm out. You know what I mean? Obviously they didn't say that shit. Be great if they did, but so clearly, in my opinion, it wasn't Triple H who woke up one day and said that, right? It's coming from above, especially when they mention it's like budget cuts and restructuring of the deal, right? Which means they're looking at cost cutting measures, which again is just so sickening when you think of just corporate America in general, right? And a couple of you guys are not here in the US, so shout out to you guys. Y'all won the lottery when it came to birth in that regard. But again, like, I'm not gonna get on that soapbox. There's a lot of pros and cons, right? And in a lot of ways, I'm very lucky, but I'm not gonna get on that tangent. Definitely don't have enough time for that. But it's just very frustrating to see all of these billion-dollar businesses go out there and just be so ruthless. I don't know. Like, and it's kind of frustrating too, because you feel really helpless in a lot of ways. Like, the bright side to them leaving, excuse me, again, it was a mutual thing. So it's not like they woke up one day and received that phone call from TKO, as Zelina said, that they were getting released. They went into a meeting, it sounds like, again, it's just me speculating or assuming rather. Sounds like they went into a meeting, and I'm very interested if it was individual meetings or if they go in there as a duo, right? Because I would imagine both guys have individual contracts, because even though I guess that is a I would imagine, right? Like, you're not gonna have two people on one like financial contract, right? Like, I don't know. Like, if you guys excuse me, in the chat know, like, if you're a tag team, for instance, like, if you come in as a tag team, like, you still sign your own individual contracts, right? Like, so if I go in there with Frida and Frida is just like, fuck this, one day I'm out, obviously, like, I'm still going to remain in the company, but I don't know. So I don't know if there's any like intertwining there. So that's why part of me would be like, well, of course they have their own contracts, so they would have separate meetings, but maybe not, because they've been a tag team. But and they both being Kingston and Woods made the decision to essentially not renew or restructure their contract. So I don't know. I guess I don't know. Like, I I'm very fascinated, and maybe it's out there and I'm just an idiot and I don't know, but I'd be very fascinated to know just more of like the workings of that, because if it was like, what are the odds that they both would have like that same response, right? Or unless they both got the phone call and they're like, hey, like, can I call you back? And they both, called each other and they're like, yo, like, I don't want to, like, I'm not going forward with, like, as a team, as us, like, as a duo, right? For anything less than this amount. And the other one was like, yeah, fuck yeah, dude, right there with you. And maybe they did like a 3-way call. I don't know. Who knows? Maybe it's out there. Maybe we'll find out. I don't know. But it's just very interesting that they both were on that same mindset to be like, I'm good. And as I think I was about to say earlier, it's just, besides the fact that it's like an unsettling feeling, it again shows you and confirms that anyone is expendable, right? It doesn't matter, almost doesn't matter who you are. Like, I imagine if Because can you see them going to Roman Reigns or Cody, right, and asking them to restructure their deal to like a TKO deal and take like less money or whatever? Like I just don't see that happening. Would they let Roman go though? Like, would they accept him like mutually parting ways? Like, would that be a thing? Like, I don't see that. I don't see it. Maybe so. Crazier things have happened, but I don't know, man. And again, I guess like to us, we view these talents as like on a different level. And on the corporate side, on the business side, they view the names of the like brand, your Romans, your Codys, your Punks, um, your Seth. I would hope your Seth Rollins, right? But maybe he's even kind of teetering. But I would imagine your Seth Rollins, your Becky Lynch, your Rhea Ripley, those that group, and there's more, right? Like I would imagine TKO WWE would damn near like do whatever they needed to do to keep them. But I don't know. When I think of talents like Kofi, granted they haven't been doing much lately, but it's still one of those like both of them. They're still one of those talents where they're just like they're a crutch. You know what I mean? They're someone that like a team individual that you have if and when you need something, right? Like in case of emergency. At this point in their career, right? Like obviously years ago they were more the focal point, but now they were more on the character side. It was fun seeing what Kofi was doing, like interacting individually with different talents. So I don't know, man. Just like him and Javon, for instance, right? Like I thought it would have been really dope to see Kingston kind of go on like a managerial role and again, not have like a breakup with Xavier Woods at this point, but just kind of go like a different route and be a guiding force for Javon Evans, right? Like they're so different, but so alike in the same regard. And I just think that they could have had such a fun little story there, and then down the road, like progressed and into like a nice little feud. But I don't know, man. It's just surprising and just disheartening that it's like, damn, dude, you can invest so much time into a company, and at the end of the day, you still have to do what they want you to do. And again, like I get it, right? Like I'm none of us are different, right? Unless you own your own company. But still, like at even if you own your own company, right? Like you still have to concede a little bit now, unless you're like a day trader or like just some like one of those investor type peoples. Then props to you, man. I'm not built like you, but for me, I have a boss. I have many bosses, and I have to work for a living. And thankfully, I am very blessed to have a wonderful full time job and a pretty good part time job as well. So yeah, but I still have to answer to them, right? I don't have many complaints, but I've had previous jobs where I'm just like, WTF, like why do we do it this way? Like, but there's nothing you can really do. You just feel stuck. So it is what it is, like we've all been there. But it's not a good feeling, man, to know like you've dedicated so much of your life. And these fuckers, man, like these these guys and gals, right? I say guys, whatever. But like these guys do, like yes, we work, like, like we do our thing during the week, right? But they have to travel like to God knows where, who knows how many times a week. Yes, the schedule has cut down a lot recently, which is a great thing. They have guaranteed money at this point. So there have been a lot of pluses that have been made financially for talent in the last few years, but it's still a toll on your body, right? And it's still frustrating, I'm sure. Like imagine like I can't well, I don't know what's worse, like going well, I do know what's worse. Like, can you imagine going to like if you live in I'll just say like you're living in Florida, right? Like, can you imagine if the show is in California or some shit? We'll just keep it in the US. You have to travel however many hours, however many connecting flights, whatever. Get to wherever at in California, and you're not even used. You're just sitting there and catering. And it's just like, why am I doing this ever? Like, what are we doing? You know what I mean? You're thankful for the check, right? But it's just, you're going through all this travel. You're not being used, but you still have to keep your body in shape. You still have to train, like nutrition, all this stuff, man. So I can't even imagine, because I'm a lazy person. I am one of those people where I kind of get in like my spurts and then I just want to veg out. So, and I want to be left alone. Like, I don't want to deal with people. I don't want to talk with anybody. I just want to be left alone. Sometimes I just want to even be in silence. So I can't imagine if someone is like me and is just always in the public like that and not even, so like you can, in one hand you could be stuck in catering and be frustrated, right? Like, or like imagine being in that mindset and having a good performer in front of millions of people. So I give, obviously, the talent super, super props, mad respect, all that good stuff, because it's a hustle, man. It's a hustle. So to do that for 20 years in Kofi's case, and then what they say Woods was 2010, right? So it was 16 years, still damn near close, not that far away. Just sucks, man. Just sucks. We're gonna get to the good side though. The bright side though, power of positivity, right? I can't fucking wait to see what the New Day, I'm just gonna call him the New Day for now, but Kofi and Woods end up doing on the indies. It's almost a given, right, that they're going to end up in AEW. The good thing with AEW is obviously they'll sign, people sign a contract with them, no shit, but AEW allows talent to do shit on the indies, right? I don't know if Kofi, and especially with Kofi, right? I don't know if Xavier has children. I don't think he does. I don't know his like personal life, but we know Kofi has a wife and 3 children, I believe. So maybe he wants to take a year off or some shit because, oh, as I meant to mention earlier, like fucking props to them for even being able to be in the position to be like, nah, man, fuck you guys. I'm not restructuring, whatever you want to call it. I'm not taking a pay cut. I know my worth. So fuck you. Respectfully, I am out. So for them to be able to be in the position financially to do that, I think is a beautiful thing. I mean, I would love to know, just for whatever in me, like if whether it's the nosiness, whatever, I would just love to know, like, over the span of the New Day run, how much fucking money just off of merch they made WWE. Like, those dudes could have retired off of their merch money years ago, right? And they could probably live the rest of their lives, and their kids could live the rest of their lives off of their merch money alone. Not to mention whatever other endorsements, whatever, all the bullshit in your contract itself, like salary itself. Like, bless them. So fucking pumped for them to be able to be in that position and to be confident enough to know their worth. WWE, again, there's a lot of negative sides to it and cons to WWE, but there's a lot of pros as well. And it's, if you're a wrestler, it's the place that you want to be. There are some talent out there who don't aspire to be to WWE, or to make it to WWE, but the majority of people do. And to be confident and good enough to be like, all right, man, like, no, I'm not taking less. I'm out. That's awesome. So shout out to them. I can't wait to see what they end up doing next. As I was saying with AEW, it's only a matter of time, 90 days, right? 90-ish days at this point, until they're able to be free. I'm so excited to see, assuming that they kind of hit the ground running, right? Maybe, again, they take time off and just enjoy the summer, which props to them, because I think the 90 days will be up sometime in August. So you could still enjoy the summer months, June, July, and then depending on what time frame in August, go back and pretty much start the fall out hot and go from there. So I don't know. I for whatever reason I could see Kofi wanting to take time off to be with his kids because again traveling a lot, you know. But if not, dude, I can't wait to see what their names are gonna be. I mean, I'm assuming Xavier Woods would go back to Austin Creed. He's built a pretty good name for himself within Austin Creed, right? He's used that, you know, sporadically as he was able to throughout the past few years, especially with like the up, up, down, down, like the gaming world and stuff like that. Kofi, that is his real first name, so he can still use the Kofi name, which is a big plus. Um, so it's just a matter of what his last name will be, or shit, he can pull a share and just be Kofi. I think that'd be dope. Like everyone knows Kofi, right? Like Cody did it for a while because he couldn't use Rhodes. So shit, why not? So yeah, I think again, it's just a matter of time until they go to AEW. I think it'd be really dope to see what they could do on the indie scene though. Maybe they'll end up doing a combination of both, but I think it would be wild if they did not end up in AEW though. Not for a long time, right? I'm not saying for years, but to go through the obvious matches, right? So we'll see. We will see, but I wonder. Oh, and that's what I was thinking about earlier too, with the restructuring of like the meeting, like was it joint or individual? Like the meeting itself. Was Big E a part of it because Big E was part of New Day, or when Big E got injured, did that kind of like tie in any intertwinings that made them like a trio? I don't know. Like I don't know. That's why I'd be fascinated to know a little bit more information. Again, not that it's any of my business, but it is, I'm just curious when it comes to stuff like that. But again, props to them. I am super stoked to see what they do going forward. Both creative dudes, especially Austin Creed, we'll call him now, right? That dude is just so talented and so smart too. I think he has like a PhD or some shit. Like he's just someone who I feel like WWE, again, credit to them. They did take advantage of the gaming side, let him, create his own channel and be kind of innovative in that regard. But they still didn't let him be as free as he could have been creatively. He did still have a little bit more freedom than other talents did, I'm sure, but there's just a lot that is still left to be cracked open, man. And I'm very excited to see what they envision their characters to be going forward. Assuming they're going to be remaining as a tag team, that'd be kind of wild if they didn't. But I don't know, man. Like, what is their tag team name going to be? The Day of New, right? Who knows? But yeah, so obviously had to get that most important one out of the way. Well, I'm not gonna say most important one. That's rude. I didn't mean that. Poor choice of words. The most well-known one, the most shocking one out of the way. Because dude, when I saw that shit, I was scrolling on Facebook earlier, and it was one of those bullshit like pages that pops up on your feed. That's like an ad, and it was like per Fightful Select, like the New Day are gone or whatever. I was like, yeah, right, dude. Like whatever. So I went to Twitter, and sure as shit, it was confirmed, and I was like, what the fuck? Couldn't believe it. Actually shocked. So yeah, if more information comes out, we will chat about anything new that arises. But again, I can't wait for, I guess, 89, 88 days, whatever it is. I don't think the WWE has specifically made an announcement. I'll go back and double check now. They did move them to the alumni section earlier today or yesterday, I believe. But Let me see. And what a fucking day, dude. Spirit Airlines shuts down. There goes my flights. People talk shit about Spirit Airlines and all that stuff, but A, Spirit is the only airline to never have a crash or an issue or anything like that. They have had all successful flights, successfully landing flights. So props to them for all the shit that people would talk about them. And two, people are like, oh, like, you know, it's like the Walmart of the airlines. Okay, cool. Well, the Walmarts of the world keep your Targets and your Whole Foods and your Trader Joe's and all that bullshit that is ridiculously overpriced and the same shit just in a different packaging. It helps the balance. It helps keep affordable living. It helps with the just the balance period, right? Like you can't have everything being pricey. Like you need some type of up and down, right? Like you can't just have all Whole Foods out there, right? Like you can't just have all Deltas and all American Airlines and shit like that. You need to have options. So I don't know, like, and two, thousands of people are losing their jobs. The flights were abruptly canceled. Thousands of people were left stranded and God knows where, either at the airport or where their trips were, like wherever they were vacationing or if they were, you know, doing whatever. So they were stranded wherever. They had to then book a new flight when thousands of people are trying to book a new flight. And the prices of those new flights skyrocketed. I saw one screenshot. The shit went from the normal price was like $299. It went up to like 1287, I think, so $1,287. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, and what are you gonna do? Like, you almost have no point. Like, I mean, depending on where you are, like, fuck it, I might try to drive, like, because the cost at that point, you know. But again, at that point, gas is absurdly expensive as well. So it's like, fuck, dude, like, what? Like, it's maddening. And then they're going to bitch in about a month or so, if that long, that people aren't traveling and that airports have seen a heavy decrease in traveling and all this bullshit. And it's like, well, fuck, what do you want from us, dude? You know what I mean? So, RIP to Spirit Airlines. You were there for me so many times. Yes, they weren't perfect, but they came in clutch. And one time, so I had a bad experience. I flew with them numerous times. I only had one bad experience, all normal experiences, but one really good experience. Long story short, one shitty one, the flight kept getting extended, like fucking, I think it was like 4 times to a point where it was like at 10, I think. This was in Richmond, Virginia. Richmond Airport, their TSA closes at like 8:30. So since the flight wasn't until like 10 something, I didn't get there until 9:30, whatever, between 9 and 9:30, because Richmond, there's like it's like a ghost town, especially in the evening. So you just literally walk right through. Like the TSA agents are waiting on you, like watching you, like, you know what I mean? It's just crazy, you know. Um, and like a lot of us get there for the flight and there's no TSA. TSA left for the evening. So we couldn't get through security. That means we couldn't get through to our flight. It's like, dude, like if you're extending and pushing back the flight, like, cool, thanks for letting me know. But I was still supposed to wait in the airport all day then? Like, it was just one of those things. Customer service was a nightmare, right? Ended up getting a credit that I never ended up using. But I had one experience where my flight was canceled. Actually, our flight was canceled coming back from Philly within maybe 5-10 minutes. I received a notification that it was canceled. You know, they apologized, da da da. I can reach out here for a refund, whatever. And then maybe 2 minutes after that, I got another update that they found a new flight for me and they were going to refund automatically the difference of what I had paid for my original flights. And because I bought one of those like bundles for your like a seat package and your bags and stuff like that, it just ended up being up cheaper than paying for it individually. Um, did all that shit immediately without me having to do anything, and I got my refund within that following week. Not even a credit, like an actual refund. So pros and cons, man. But moving on, the other two departures that we had today were not as noteworthy, like name wise on the card, but my opinion, still kind of surprising. That was JC Mateo, of course, Jeff Cobb, and move this ad, and Tongaloa. Tongaloa was surprising to me because of Tama. You know what I mean? Like Tonga was out for a while due to an injury, and then he came back, and they just didn't really do much with him. The MFTs didn't really go anywhere. Like Solo wasn't as big of a solo artist, pun, maybe no pun intended. You know, like the whole point of the MFTs was the spawn of the bloodline, right? It was Solo Sokoa doing his own thing, like, you know, like that was the story, or branching his own path, pun intended there. And it was just shit. They wasted countless months with the Wyatt Six, who are also no longer didn't want to say no longer with us, but they are no longer with WWE. So it's like when you think about it, damn near everyone in that feud is gone except for who? Solo Sokoa, Tamatonga, and of course Jacob Fatu, but he wasn't involved in that feud specifically. But yeah, that's pretty much. Oh, and Hideo, but that's pretty much it, right? So it's just wild to think about that. I mean, maybe not wild to think about it. It's just kind of odd to me that you cut Tonga and not Tama, which I'm very thankful for, right? And it's not odd because it's kind of obvious, not to be mean, right? But I mean, when you look at on paper, Tama is just, I don't know if it's necessarily the it factor, but he has this presence about him where you watch him, like when he's on screen, like you kind of watch to see what he's doing, his mannerisms, his body language, things like that. So I don't know, and especially what he's been doing lately with Shinsuke trying to like egg him on to leave the MFTs, which doesn't seem like an issue now. So yeah, it's just, so you see it in that aspect, but then it's just also kind of weird on the flip side. It's like, damn, like it kind of sucks if you're Tonga, like I don't know, man. Kind of like, man, Tom is still there, but I'm gone, you know? But again, not like they were doing much with him, which again is another point to that, which is kind of, you know, sad. Like I'm not trying to be mean, you know, I'm just kind of stating facts. But it's one of those things where again, like you're not guaranteed, and you're not like owed a job, right? Like we're lucky to have jobs. But corporations are lucky to have employees as well. And it gets to a point where if you damage that morale and that perception, and you have people to the point where they are concerned that any day could be their last day there, they're not going to want to work for you. The word's going to get out that people aren't going to want to apply to your business. And then people internally are going to be actively looking for jobs elsewhere. So, again, not trying to be dramatic because we're not at that point yet, but it just kind of feels like we're getting back to like that bad taste in your mouth WWE that we were in a few years ago before Triple H took over, and it was like, you know, like the high of everything. Now it feels like we're going back to that low, I don't want to say a low point yet, but we're kind of at that like, man, like they just make like bad call after bad call after bad call, and it's just like, man, I don't know, man. It just doesn't sit well with you, you know? And then of course, JC Mateo, Jeff Cobb, he was surprising just because he wasn't even there long. I don't even think it had been a year. Let me see. Yeah, he signed with WWE in 2025, making his debut at Backlash. So, depending on what date specifically that was, like in WWE calendar years, like Backlash to Backlash, like that would have been his year anniversary. But of course, he debuted aligning with Solo Sikoa before joining WWE. He wrestled as Jeff Cobb in New Japan, where he was part of the United Empire, which of course we know that. But yeah, that's all we have on Mateo at this point. But yeah, guys, so that is everything departure wise right now. I'm gonna dive into your chats here in a moment, and then we'll probably wrap up here shortly. But I appreciate all you guys for popping in on this random Saturday stream. Doo-doo-doo. God, some creators, man, are just so. Hmm. Where is. Okay. And like I was saying earlier, in regards to tag divisions, WWE's tag division is quite embarrassing, and almost non-existent, like I said. However, AEW's is about to be quite bountiful. Man, about 5 months. I was about to say 6 months, 5-ish months. If that, we'll just say 6 months. Give it a little bit of space. I'll be very interested to see what AEW's roster as a whole, of course, but specifically like their tag division, because you think in Motor City Machine Guns were also released not too long ago. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think things are going to be looking up for AEW. It just sucks that like both companies both can't be on a high at the same time. Like in regards to like the number 1 and number 2 companies out there, you know? All right, guys, I'm just going through to make sure no other recent news or departures or anything crazy before we wrap it up here shortly. And like I said, I'm gonna go through your chats here too. So I missed you guys. I hope y'all have had a excuse me, a fantastic week. Y'all have been safe out there. Shout out to Sai. I haven't seen if you're in the chat yet, Sai, but shout out to Sai. If you guys have not seen it yet, he is the fucking man. I am so blessed to know him and thankful for him. He hooked me up with one of those cameos from Trick Williams, so it's on the page, on the Kickash page here on YouTube as a short. So check that out. It's a little shout out there, which is just amazing. So shout out to Sai. I was completely shocked when I played the video. At first, I was like listening to it, and I was like, "Wait, did he say Ash? Like, Kickash? Is he talking to me?" I was just kind of like listening to it, and like as he was talking more, and he talked about Frida, and I was like, "ACL?" And I'm like, he didn't know dogs had AIDS. He was fucking hilarious. And I was just like, I didn't either. I just never thought about it really. And I was just like, this motherfucker's talking to me. And then I had to go and rewatch it like twice. So I ended up watching it like 3 times for the first time. But yeah, it's fucking dope. Very, very thankful and lucky. So again, thank you, Sai. If you are out there or watching on replay, I appreciate you so much, my friend. I can't wait to see you in person so I'm able to return the favors and return all the kind gestures that you have done for me and everything you've done for the channel. You're good people, man. Okay, cool. So nothing else crazy. All right, cool. Like I said, I just wanted to go through and make sure nothing else popped off because y'all know how the world is. Okay, and just another little update. Nothing breaking news wise, but just a cool little FYI. Fightful says, despite speculation, Ted DiBiase Jr. was never seriously considered for involvement in the Orton Rhodes WrestleMania program. Fightful Select has learned, and they had details on why and his status during WrestleMania weekend, which I believe he was in the audience for WrestleMania night 1. I don't know about night 2, but I'm pretty certain because he was standing there. Well, I know he was. I just don't know which night. It would make sense for it to be night 1 with, the match, Randy and Cody being on night 1. But he was on the floor and it was like maybe like a 2 or 3 minute video. He was literally just standing there with his phone, like recording himself, just like, you can't see my phone, but like just standing there with the phone, looking at him, recording his reaction, with also the big monitor that hangs in the middle of the dome, showing, obviously like the video package for Cody. And I don't know, like maybe it was like maybe 2 to 4 minute video, we'll call it, whatever. But it was a few minutes, whatever. So I'm like, oh, okay, because somebody was like, like someone, whoever had reposted it, had said like Ted DiBiase's like reaction to him being in the video package or some shit. So I was like, okay, like he just got off on his charges, so I'm sure he's living a high life. Obviously, he's at Mania, so and I was curious to see what he looked like too. So then whatever, I'm just doom scrolling right now. Let me see. I wasted, we'll call it 4 fucking minutes of my life. This dude just stood there the entire time, like, and I'm just like, really? Like, this is like, you felt the need to record yourself doing this? And I'm just like, what the fuck are we doing in this world? Like, you really just stood there for like 4, what felt like forever fucking minutes, recording yourself, looking at the phone, watching the video, watching the video of what you're supposed to be reacting to through your phone so you can get it in the background. I'm just like, oh my God. It's like those people, and if you do it, no disrespect, but because I have many, many friends and good friends who do this shit, and it's laughable to me. People go and like, especially like, there's this dude, really active guy, fucking shredded, and is like, I'm in his 50s. He doesn't watch wrestling, so he's never gonna, whatever. Um, he loves to like, he like goes mountain biking, skateboards, surfs, all this cool shit, right? Very cool dude, really dope dude, very good guy. Don't mean anything negative about this, but I just understand the mindset. So he'll set up his phone, right? Like it'll be like go, for instance, mountain biking. They'll be, obviously going down a trail in a wooded area, whatever. He'll prop his phone up on whatever, a rock, tree, whatever, and he'll obviously hit record, and then I'm assuming, obviously, right, he then takes said bike back to the starting point and then rides said bike all the way through the trail and like, right by, so like the phone is recording him like, mountain biking and like being all like and shit, and I'm just like, okay, so you rode your bike to that spot, got off the bike, set up the phone, hit record, drove back, God knows where, to pick up that speed, hauled ass through to record yourself, then stopped right after, went to get your phone, and then like I just like, why, like, what are we doing, like it's different if you have like one of those, like, I don't know if it's like a GoPro or like one of those helmet cameras or whatever, or even now like the meta glasses, but it's like, You literally like stop what you're doing, set up your phone, restart, go through, stop, go back, get your phone. And it's just like, and I hope you got it on the first take, because if not, then you got to go back and redo it. It's just like, my dude, like, you're supposed to be in nature, like enjoying nature. Like, you're supposed to be mountain biking, like fucking, like exercising, like being in an escape. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. Like, sorry guys, I didn't mean to get on a spiel there, but it just, like, seeing fucking Ted DiBiase and thinking of that video clip of him at WrestleMania just reminded me of like the absurdity of our life sometimes. But yeah, so with him not being involved, I mean, to me that's no shocker. They didn't have any fucking plans going into it. Like, that's no shocker to me. Like, come on, dude. I could have told you that for $5. No disrespect to Fightful, I'm just saying. They're you know, they're cool. They're cool. But it's like, duh. You know? But I mean, it's good to have confirmed news, right? But it's just funny. Because some people were like, are actually surprised. Like, oh, they dirty dropped the ball. Like, how could they not? Like, y'all, you expected them to? Like, come on. They thought Pat McAfee was the answer, and you expected them to call back Ted DiBiase Jr.? Fuck out of here. Maybe, like I said, sometime last week after when we were doing our Mania and like with just like a recap in general, maybe they, if they're gonna do Cody and Randy at SummerSlam, maybe they actually tell a proper story regarding the history and actually bring back DiBiase then. Not holding my breath on it though, at all. But yeah, it's interesting that they're going in the direction with Gunther now, though. I don't really know what to make of that. All right, cool. All right. But thank you guys, like I said, for being in here on this random Saturday evening stream. I appreciate you guys so very much. Or if you're watching on replay, I appreciate you as well. Go out there and live your lives. If you don't mind, like, subscribe, all that bullshit. That'd be pretty cool. But Maddie, I hope you're having a good day, my friend. Tell your mama I said hola. Good morning. Well, yeah, good morning. Muhammad, hope you're doing all right there, my friend. CJ, I hope you're not too angry. CJ, I don't know, man. If you're still out there now or if you listen in the future, I have a weird feeling, man, that Bailey, I'm not gonna say is gonna be released, but may make a decision like the New Day did. I just have a funny feeling. And I would fucking love that. I would love to see what she would do in the Indies. But yeah. Oh, Sai, you were in here. What's up, friend? What's up? What's up? Mackenzie, what up? What up? Okay, Sai, yeah, thank you for that. You said, I wonder why WWE no longer reports on their own releases. They haven't announced one in years. Okay, yeah, so that's what I said at one point earlier. I'm gonna pull their Twitter back up and see the WWE. Well, just pull Twitter back up in general, but pull WWE's Twitter account up to see. And guys, so it's just weird, like your intuition, right? And like your gut feeling. Like I was just, when they first announced Backlash in Tampa, I was super pumped. But then that was a couple months ago. And things just kind of shifted, man. I'm just like, man, like just the excitement and like the want to go. It's just like, man, I don't know. We'll wait until it gets closer to the show itself and see, especially with the ticket prices and stuff like that. I've been checking on them, sporadically, especially last week as we get closer to the show. And we're just like, yeah, no. Even more thankful I didn't buy them now because Frida obviously injured herself, and I will be putting a used car payment wise in her knee on Thursday morning. So there's that. Her surgery is like $5,900, y'all. Like fucking insane. I'm almost relieved though because her primary vet said to expect anywhere from 6 to 10K. So I was fearing 10K plus just because I was just like, man. But it's just, it is what it is. But I'm just thankful that I'm able to do it. Like, there were times that I wouldn't have been able to. So there's that. But it's just fucking crazy, dude. Because she was like, her vet was like, oh, does she have insurance? And I was like, no. Because, like, she's 10 and a half years old, almost 11 years old. Like, when I first got her, like, the pet insurance wasn't really that popular of a thing. And especially where I lived, it was, like, not, like, I didn't know pet insurance was a thing until even, like, when I moved down to Florida, like, about 4 years ago. And at that point, she was already too old. So, both of them were. So I was just like, well, it makes, I can't do it now. Yeah. And even with it, like you would have to pay, and then they would have to, like, you would pay everything up front, and then you would submit the invoices, the bill, and everything like that, and then they would review it, and then they would refund you like a portion of it, which again would be fantastic, right? Take what I can get, but there's just like, it's hard enough for us humans to get shit approved. Imagine a fucking dog, right? They would. I can only imagine them being like, oh yeah, well she, pain management is an option, so she doesn't need the surgery. She can just live off of the pain medicine for the rest of her life. I'm like, okay, yeah, until she fucking blows out her other leg. It's just crazy, dude. So I was just like, yeah, I'm not getting that pet insurance. I'll save that fucking 80 a month for shit like this. But yes, you're right. I'm scrolling through their Twitter page. Where did they? Three hours ago. Oh, okay, Ray Phoenix is going to be in AAA though. Has he been there? And I just missed out because I was thinking earlier. I was like, where's Ray Phoenix been? But yeah, and so that's what I was going to mention though. An update on Backlash. I might potentially do a live stream for Backlash because talking about Frida, that was kind of my long, the way I was getting to my point. If I ever do, which I, sometimes don't. With Frida's surgery being on Thursday, I am going to be pretty much like homebound for that entire weekend. Minus a couple hours on Friday. So I was thinking, well, fuck, if I'm gonna be home, might as well do a stream. So I might just do that. So TBD on that. Because like I said, I definitely won't be going. But I was thinking maybe I would go to the store, the little fan store that they have here, and maybe see like if they had any like meet and greets and shit like that, or any local independent shows. Maybe I'll go down there for that because Tampa, like especially depending on where exactly, it's like an hour and 45-minute drive for me, so not that bad at all. So I've been kind of debating on that. So that's what I'm saying. I might do a stream because I can't be gone long. I was gonna, and maybe if I can get someone to watch her for a little bit, that I might. But I'm really not trying to leave her either. So TBD. But if not a live stream itself on Saturday, definitely will be doing a preview show well, maybe if not before, like if not sometime during the week, then Saturday morning. So yeah, TBD on all that stuff, but just kind of thinking out loud with you guys here, just to kind of give you guys a heads up on what I'm trying to do here. within the next week or so. And guys, the other channel that I have kind of briefly chit-chatted about, I am getting more and more serious about wanting to do. So stand by for that as well. Oh, my best friend is calling me. But I wanted to see if there was anything else. But yeah, so would you guys be interested in a watch along? Oh, and I did throw a poll up on YouTube. If you haven't already, vote. Would you, I think it was, let me pull it up here. Would you guys be interested in seeing New Day in AEW or not? That is the question. Oh, so the Superstore, shit. The Superstore actually starts from, or it's from Thursday to Sunday. Shit. I might try to fucking go down there early on Thursday because it's from 1 to 9. Try to be there by 1 when they open. Get in, get out. Because they said I'd probably pick her up between 3 and 5. So as long as I'm back here by 5. Hey, you guys. Oh. But yeah, so I'm gonna look at the chat or the poll here really quick. And the numbers say the question officially was, do you want to see Kofi and Xavier in AEW? And with 56% of the votes in, the options were to either take a break or count down to the Bucks match begins. There's only so many character limits, right? But 56% voted to take a break, which I'm actually surprised by. I thought that you guys would have been excited for New Day to go into AEW to shake shit up a bit. I mean, not that, again, they're like revolutionary talent or anything like that, but I think that there's something there, and I think that they would have fun matches. Like, I have always, again, and you guys know me, I've never been the biggest Bucks fan, but I think the match between them would just be so fun. Of course, FTR. God, what's the other one? Who's the other one I'm forgetting? Even like little matches like the Rascals, like I think that would be so fun and just so different, right? And just different things that they can do individually. I think it'd be dope to see what Austin Creed, we have to get used to calling him that, right? Would do. So yeah, man. I'm not itching to see them. Like if they take time off, if they never go into wrestling again, I'm not gonna be brokenhearted because they had a great run. So, and again, I'm happy for them because they stood their ground, they knew their worth, and they said, "Fuck you guys." I'm looking for my other flip flop. They said, "Fuck you guys. Y'all ain't gonna lowball me. I know how much money y'all are making. Look at them stocks. Yeah, they may be down, but they were up for quite a while. So I know what I'm worth. Pay me or release me." And that's what they did. So yeah. But if I do go to the Superstore anytime from Thursday to Sunday, but maybe I might try to do that shit on Thursday for real. But I don't know. We'll see. That's for me to figure out. But if I do, I will definitely take some videos. Maybe I'll do a live stream, but I'll definitely take some videos while I'm there to give you guys a look at what they have there. Hope I don't end up getting FOMO. But yeah. So there. That is pretty much the stream, guys, what I wanted to chit chat with you guys about. Maddie, I appreciate you being in here, my guy. I appreciate you popping in. Mohammed, Sai, all you fellas. Y'all are the best. Dude, bro. I'm not gonna pull it up on screen, but bro, you ain't lying on that one. You ain't lying on that one. Mackenzie, you said you're playing Mafia: The Old Country. What game is that? Mafia of the old country. E, you're fucking hilarious, bro. I love you, my guy. You said, do we want a backlash watch? I don't even know if I could put this shit on the screen. You said, do we want a backlash watch along? Does Maddie smoke weed? Do I love snorting the kuka off the. Oh, you're hilarious, bro. The Mafia game, the only one I remember, it was like this, it was fucking on PlayStation 2. Oh my god, it was like, it was based in like the 50s, 60s, I think. You were solving like all these different murders that ended up like tying in together. I forget the name of it exactly, but I fucking loved that game. That and Bully. Do y'all remember that game Bully for PlayStation 2? That shit would be banned. That company, like whoever made that game, they would be sued if that shit released nowadays. Like, it's just so crazy how different the world is now. But yeah, guys, I will, like I said, I'm going to stop bullshitting here now. Again, you guys are amazing. I appreciate you all so, so much for popping in on this Saturday evening. Whether you watched live, if you are here, like, subscribe. If you're watching on replay, do all that shit as well. That'd still be great. They have like this hype thing too, where you can like hype videos if you're watching on replay. So that'd be pretty dope. Something with the algorithm. I don't know. I've heard other shows talk about it. So do whatever you want, man. Or if you don't feel like doing anything, that's pretty dope too. I just appreciate you popping in and popping out. So until next time, my friends, stay safe out there. Please. The world is fucking crazy. And be nice to one another. We're all going through some shit. So take care, guys. Until next time. Peace.